Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it is time for the new Gnome Friends cat dies assembly. Hey, so I'm using the brand new Gnome Friends cat dies along with the new cat faces stamp set. And I'm also using this Bella Boulevard Bella Besties set. So first of all, I cut out this cat out of American Crafts gray cardstock, and I'm just inking around the edges with some Distress Oxide ink in Hickory Smoke. So just quickly running it around all the edges. Now, with these cats, you can choose to use all the pieces or not. There are ways to kind of get around using a million layers if you wanted to keep things a little bit flatter. But I'll be showing you a lot of the layers today. And I'm not going to cut out the tail for these because I did cut the base of this cat out of the same cardstock that I used for the main part of the cat. So if I cut it out of black, like I normally do, then I would have to cut the tail. But I didn't bother in this one because the tail was attached to the main piece that I'm layering on. So I'm also using, this pink for the yarn ball is cut from that Bella Boulevard-Freehand Graph Dot Besties 6-inch pad. And I believe one of the collars is as well. And then I also used dark gray cardstock, like I said, as well, for the cat dots. Or spots, not really dots, right? A spotted cat, not a dotted cat. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to layer up this cat. So I start with my base layer. I'm adding some Barely Art glue using my reverse tweezers and adding my little body layer next. Then I'm going to add on my little face layer. There we go. Now all my die cutting today was done with my Anna Griffin Empress, working on a Stampin' Up! Pad like I always do. There we go. Next I'm going to add on the face layer. So for this one, I believe I'm going to use the die cut eyes. Let me see. Hold on, I just got to make sure. Or no, am I going to stamp the face on this one? So you can choose to stamp the face and use the plain face, so you can stamp on it, or you can use the face with the stitching lines to line up the dies and use the die cutting pieces. So for this one, I believe, I can't remember what I do on this one, but anyways, I'm adding a white little rough, that's paper tray ink white cardstock, and then the dark gray cardstock for all the spots. So I'm just going to add the spots where they go here, kind of lining things up. Now you can obviously use these spots wherever you want. These are just where Jaded Blossom was thinking of putting the spots, right? So I'm just quickly doing that. Now I'll be adding pink on the inside of the ears. This is American Crafts pink cardstock. I'm going to add that to my ear. And then I'll add the ear to my cat. Doing the same thing again. Now you can make these cats any color you'd like. You could use patterns if you like. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, so adding in those little ears now with some glue. Now you can use whatever glue you like. There, so next I'm going to add on these other spots. And like I said, you can choose to put these spots where you like, although they do tend to line up in certain spots. So keep that in mind. So now I'm adding on the little muzzle, and that's cut out of paper tray ink white cardstock. The little pink nose is cut from that same American Crafts pink cardstock. There we go. Now, like I said, remember you can stamp faces on. You could use Google eyes. You could use little black enamel dots for eyes, whatever you want. So now I'm using some EK Success chalk on the cheeks. Of course, your fictitious little kitty would have funny little pink cheeks, but whatever. So now I am putting together the little, oh my goodness, I'm having a brain fart. Collar, sorry. It's menopause in full action. Okay, so I'm adding on this little collar. That was cut from that same Bella Boulevard Freehand Graph Dot, but in purple. And then some gold mirror cardstock for the bell. So there we go. So here I am just getting things organized. So I'm going to add on, so I was using the little die cut eyes for this one. So I'm adding on the white layer, that's Paper to Ink white cardstock, using my embellishment wand. There. I'm just making sure that they're in the right spot for me. Whoops. Trying to make them even. There. And I'm blind these days, people. It's a struggle. So there. And then next I'm going to add the centers of the eyes. I cut this out of Bazzill Bling-greem, just so it's kind of got some iridescent shine. You don't have to do this, but I just thought it looked nice. And then the little pupils were cut from American Crafts black cardstock, and I'm going to add those as well with my embellishment wand. Remember, mine was from Studio Katia, I think, but remember, these are available. A lot of different places sell them, so, you know, and they work great for picking up small pieces. So there's my little kitty. There, and isn't, oh, super cute. I'm going to use a Sakura white jelly roll pen and a number 10 to add some highlights to the eyes so they don't look so flat. And there you go. Okay, so I'm going to put together this little yarn ball next. Now remember, you can assemble this separate and not use the little piece, this little black piece, you know, as a base for the little paws. That's up to you. So you could put it on your card separate without little paws, or have your cat holding it. So I'm going to assemble this. It's very simple. And I did cut the base layer out of American Crafts black cardstock. I did ink around the edge, like I said, with that Hickory Smoke Distress ink. So I'm just adding on these little layers to make it look like the yarn is wrapped around. And, whoops, trying to get it in place. Just going to add glue. And then we can have our little kitty cat holding it, which is fun. You'll see to the left there's an assembled little calico kitty, right? So you can make whatever little cats your heart desires, right? So I'm using Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, the small ones. I'm going to pop up the little paws. And then there is my little cat holding the yarn ball. Okay, so next I am going to make a little orange kitty. And I'm inking around the edges with Distress ink in ground espresso. And the pattern paper is from that Bella Boulevard Besties Freehand Graph Dot 6-inch pad. But, you know, use what you have, right? I'm just inking around all these little pieces. The brown cardstock is American Crafts brown cardstock. And like I said, I'm not going to bother cutting the tail because I cut the main base of the cat out of my pattern paper that I'm using. Right? Now I do add it to a black layer, I believe. I'm not sure. It's there, so I might. And it does add a little bit of thickness, right? So now I am inking around the little stripes that this kitty's going to have because it's a tabby. And then the tail has little stripes. Now this is overkill. You really don't have to ink around the edges of this. But of course, once I started, I couldn't stop myself, so I kept going. So anyways, this is a super sweet release from Jaded Blossom. Remember that these cats, you know, you can use the Gnome dies to have them holding all sorts of different things. And you can give them hats and all those things because they're roughly the same size as the gnomes. Okay, so now I am adding some EK Success chalk to the cheeks, and I'll be doing some stamping. So I'm going to stamp on the face using my Misty and Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. Isn't this cute? It's got a little sticky out tongue, this one. And there it is, just adorable. Okay, so I am just inking around that little cat head. And I did stamp it on white cardstock as well. I'm just going to add on the little nose. That's American Crafts pink cardstock. There. And just making sure it's straight. There we go. And I'm taking out a Copic marker in red, and it is R17. I'm just tapping to fill in that tongue. Remember, Versafine Clair Nocturne ink is not Copic friendly, so be careful. Now I'm taking a YG17, and I'm going to do the same thing with the eye color. I'm going to be doing some paper piecing for the eyes and the tongue. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just being careful. There we go. And then I'm going to use my little trimmer scissors. I think these are EK Success, but a lot of companies make little trimmer scissors. And I'm going to cut these out on the line. So you want to cut on the line. There. And then I will paper piece it onto the little kitty cat. So now I could have stamped the face onto the kitty, and then I could have colored the eyes brown, and then I could have used my Sakura white jelly roll pen to color in the white part of the eyes. Could have used a darker color of red for the tongue, but I chose to do this just because I wanted it to be really bright white and I wanted the colors to be vibrant. But you know, you can do you and do whatever makes you happy. But like I said, you don't even have to use the stamped faces on these if you don't want. You could use Google eyes. You could use little black enamel dots for the eyes. You could use the die cut eyes. You know, whatever you want. Okay, so I'm using a Memento Tuxedo black marker and I'm just going to run that along the edges just so if I didn't cut it perfectly, you won't be able to tell when I stick it down onto the black stamped face image. Right? It's just a little trick. I can't remember where I learned this, but you know, this has been around for a long time. So I'm just going to ink around the edge. You know, back when you had to fussy cut your stamped images. There. And now I am going to add my eyes to my kitty cat face and the tongue. There we go. And I'm going to get these in place. And how cute is that? My goodness. Get the last little eye in place. And isn't that cute? My goodness. Okay. And I will weight it down with an acrylic block until it dries. Okay, so now I'm going to assemble my little kitty cat. And I'm going to add on my little body. Oh, so it looks like I don't think I added the black layer. Like I said, you know, if you cut the base of your kitty cat out in the color you're using, you know, you don't have to cut the tail, or you could just cut the tail, cut the main base out of black or whatever color you want to use because it won't show, whatever you want to do. Okay, so next I'm adding in the front legs because this one isn't going to be holding anything. Just with some Barely Art glue, adding them in place. There we go. I'm going to add in that little fur ruff or whatever it is. We call our cats a mane. We always tell them, you look like a little lion with your mane, but it is not. It is a little, you know, fur tuft cut out of American Crafts brown cardstock. I'm going to add on the head, lining things up. And isn't that face cute? My goodness. There we go. And then I'm going to add on the ears, you know, with some Barely Art glue. There we are, lining them up. There. And okay, there we got our little orange kitty. Now I'm going to add on the little collar. I almost lost the name of it again. I cut it out of American Crafts black cardstock first, and then pure poppy cardstock for this collar. And then Recollections gold mirror cardstock for the little bell. And isn't that cute? Oh my goodness, so darn cute. Okay, so now I'm going to add on the little tabby stripes, right? And that's American Crafts brown cardstock again. I almost said black cardstock. So it does line up right in the center, and then the other two are on either side. And I just think this really adds, you know, some personality to your kitty cat. There. Now, obviously, if you were adding like a gnome hat or something, it probably wouldn't show. There. So I'm going to add in the little American Crafts pink inner ears. There we are. And then I will add on the tail stripes. Oops. First, I'm going to add some little highlights here. Oh no, little freckles on the muzzle. Because why not, right? And then I'm going to add on the little tail stripes. You see to the left, I already have a gray tabby cat assembled. So you can make these kitty cats any color. Remember, I'm just sort of showing you where the different items go. on the cats, and then you could do what you want. You could leave your cat more plain, not use the spots or stripes, right? That's an option as well. And it would be really cute plain. You could have like a pure white kitty cat if that's what your cat looks like. Or if it's a black kitty cat, I would probably edge around the edges with some white pigment ink, just so you can see the edges of everything. When I was making my calico kitty, I did not edge around in white for the black little spots. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like, you can't really tell that, can't really see that leg in my pictures as well. But, you know, in real person, you can certainly see it. So I'm adding in the little stripes, and isn't that cute? My goodness, just adorable stuff. And then there we go. I'm gonna add a couple more. Super cute, and that's on an A2 size card base. So you can see the sizing and everything. Spots and stripes. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, Be Inspired by the Team, the Jaded Blossom store, to get these amazing, awesome products. And thanks as always for watching my videos. Bye, everybody.